girl from Clinton, Mississippi, and when I was 14 years old, I was scouted to become a model. And he said to me, "You will be a supermodel, but you have to lose weight." And he told me that I had to lose 9 to 10 inches off of my hips. And in that moment, living in Clinton, Mississippi, I mean, I had dreams. I wanted to go off to university. I wanted to be a lawyer myself. And I thought, I have no contacts, I have no money, and I live in a small town. How am I going to do that? So that's, I guess you could say, that was the thing that began my eating disorder. I, for the next 3 years, got down to 95 pounds, and I thought that I had to do that because there was a standard set for me. I thought thin was beautiful. I thought that's, basically what I had to do to fit in as a model, to be beautiful, to be successful.
People in this business tend to ignore like child labor laws. It's not like working as an actor where you're on a movie set where they will arrange for a tutor for you. When you work as a model, as a minor, you're just expected to miss school. Models come and go very fast. We're sort of disposable. We might last a season or two and then we're replaced by the next girl. And so we have very little power in the industry, whereas the agents and often the photographers and casting directors, they have longer careers and they have long-standing relationships. And so there's sort of a power structure in place. Child labor laws are often ignored in the modeling industry. When it comes to issues of like sexual harassment and assault, there's really nowhere to turn. And so how do you take this personal experience and try to make the industry better for everyone? How do we set basic standards so that even the model who doesn't have a voice, who's not as fortunate as you or me to be sitting here and talking about this stuff, how do we make sure that that girl is protected as well?
Well, I think absolutely what we were talking about in the class. I think that photographers should not be allowed free reign backstage. I think that these girls are underage. I think that taking pictures of them naked, posing naked, maybe they don't know their comfort level yet at that age. And I think that I would like to see that change. I would say that something needs to be regulated.
So I think there are questions of privacy law that are starting to play in. There are questions of control over your own image and your right to publicity that ought to become an issue. In class, you raised the question of not being able to control your own image. And that has got to be so painful. And I can imagine a different kind of industry where you could, like an actor or actress, particularly once you reach a certain level, control or have some final say over, or at least more significant input into the kinds of issues that you've raised.
Yes.
And I know that you were a little skeptical of whether that would work because, of course, the editorial wants to say, the photographer wants to say, the makeup artist wants to say.
Yes.
And yet, why should you have no say at all?
Mm-hmm.
It's your name that's going to be on that picture.
Absolutely.
It's very easy at the beginning when you're working as a model to think that the problems that you're experiencing are individual and personal, and not necessarily realizing until later that many of these problems are actually systemic.
People who are treated the way some of you all are treated when they are factory workers or fruit pickers would cause great outrage. If the client of a fruit picker wanted to sexually abuse the person who's picking the fruit, there would be widespread outrage. Oh, and by the way, the owner of the orchard would forbid it. That doesn't happen in the modeling industry to the extent that it should.
Why is that the case?
I think there's an anti-beauty bias. There are students of mine who look at you all and say, oh, but you're getting paid for looking good. You won the genetic lottery, and now you also want rights? Well, yes, you do, right? You're also human. And we have basic standards in our society that people shouldn't have to work in employment conditions that are substandard. So that, to me, is the passionate issue that is at play here. Now, that's why Sara's concept of the Model Alliance is so much more forward-thinking than anything that has ever been done in the area of banding models together. You're bringing in people from all different areas who have a stake in the industry, thinking, well, we could do something with this, we could help. Mm-hmm. And if that dialogue becomes enmeshed in and part of the fabric of your alliance, it can go very far.